Hello, ladies and gentlemen, crypto deep divers. Welcome back to Weekly Crypto. Today, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin and I'll touch on Max Kaiser as well. Before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out the upcoming video that could be time sensitive. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, library.tv, as well as Patreon. For my Patreon group member, you can check out my videos. I post a whole bunch of videos about the three indicator that hurts a FOMO into the stock market, screaming sell signal should you get the coronavirus vaccine, and where to buy gold and silver, as well as which gold and silver coin has high resale value. The next Tezos, if you miss the Tezos one, there's another Tezos. And you can check it out. If you're interested, you can join my Patreon group. So let's talk about the Bitcoin quickly. So right now, 11.4 million Bitcoin held as a long-term investment, and only 20% of the total supply is trading right now. So basically, tons of people are hodling Bitcoin. And this is based on chain analysis. And you can see 11.4 million Bitcoin holding it as an investment. And then 3.7 million already lost because if they lose their computer, lose their private key, and only 3.5 million is trading. To be mined is only 2.5 million left. And of course, the halving was occur in May, and the reward from the from every bot from the miners cut down from 12.5 to 6.25. So right now the inflation for Bitcoin is only 2%, and so this is basically a digital gold, and basically 3.5 million Bitcoin just used for trading, and of course they only have like 340,000 weekly trader. Oh, really? And they're talking about retail traders are responsible for 96% of the transactions, and the professional move the bulk of the volume. And the thing is, like, the deposit is less than 10,000 US dollar for the Bitcoin. Basically, they're trading maybe around one Bitcoin, right? And which is account for 96% of all the transfer sent to exchange on an average weekly basis. And professional trader and they control basically they control the liquidity of the market, which is 85% of all the US dollar value of Bitcoin value sent to exchange. Yeah, of course, because they have tons of money, professional trader, institution, and 60% held with licensed custodial. And you can see as the time progressed, you can see this bar is like you can see virtual asset service provider or custodial licensed custodial services. You can see it has been increasing. Of course, institution has been getting into the Bitcoin, and you can see this bar is basically is not institution based individual investor. You can see individuals investors getting less and less, and versus 2016. 2016, you can see the custodial service is not that big. Right now, it's more than double in 2019. So you can see the institution, of course, are getting into the market, and maybe because of the US dollar too, right? And right now, of course, 3.7 million Bitcoin already lost, and 1.1 million coin that were likely mined by Satoshi Nakamoto. And the thing is, because of the custodial service is pretty centralized, it's like hold by exchange, this including exchange as well. So if you leave your token in the exchange, they probably count it as in here. So don't leave your token in the exchange, especially Bitcoin. Transfer it to your hardware wallet. You have to use hardware wallet. I'm not even using a software wallet. Some coin I will use software wallet because of this staking will be easier. And for Bitcoin, no way. You have to use a ledger, right? This is crypto 101 basically. And because of this, basically it's too centralized, right? If you're doing this, the centralized custodial services, I don't like the idea because the fundamental of blockchain technology is supposed to be decentralized, and decentralize the power the power back to the people from institution control. But right now, institutions are getting in as well. So, right now at this time, I think it's very to me, if they are getting into the crypto space, things will be getting more centralized. And I suspect because of the limitation on the quantity of the Bitcoin, they're going to hypothecate the Bitcoin maybe 100x. So maybe not just 21 million Bitcoin, it could be more than that because they can use their financial instrument, just like those ETF, all this future contract, and they can play the games just like in Wall Street. So I had talked about this probably in long time ago in my previous video. You can check it out. And Max Kaiser, he's a Bitcoin Maximus basically. And of course, he talked about Paul Tutor Jones to be the biggest Bitcoin holder in 2 years. Well, they have so much money. They can, people. He talked about his target for Bitcoin is 400,000, and that will coincide with the U.S. dollar collapse. Well, the U.S. dollar collapse, maybe it will happen one day, but the thing is, like, it will take a while. So we'll see. And he talked about because of the national debt right now is 100% to GDP. I think it's in Japan it's like almost 180% GDP. In Germany is even I think it's even higher, and the national debt is like 26 trillion, and the military budget is 1.6 trillion, and they're talking about the interest rate right now. We are almost almost zero territory, but he's talking about potentially the interest rate will go back to 5%. So that will put a pressure on the national debt as well. And of course, with the post halving, the inflation is 2%, right? And then we just have halving back in May, so the reward cut by half from 12.5 block per block Bitcoin to 6.25 Bitcoin per block. So so he has been talking about Bitcoin all day long. I mean, very long time actually, since 2011, I think. Yeah, he tell everybody to get in Bitcoin when Bitcoin is $1, basically. So he has the vision long time ago because a lot of people don't take this seriously. They think this is a gaming money, right? Remember back then, it's a gaming money. People thinking, hey, this is just a gaming money. People buying pizza because they don't take it seriously, right? But right now, how much is Bitcoin? Right, almost is 9,000, and I don't think it's just because of Bitcoin that has that impact. It's because the U.S. dollar irresponsible fiscal policy of every nations. Basically, all the nations are basically printing. So maybe it's because of this. So that's why Bitcoin become more valuable because of the limitations. It's only 21 million Bitcoin. That's all, and of the 21 million, like around like 4 million already lost. So there's no inflation, basically. It's basically a deflationary process. But the thing is, Wall Street getting into the Bitcoin, they are going to rehypothecate Bitcoin, and they will put some type of ETF or instrument in the market for you to play. But the thing is, if you don't hold your key, you don't hold your token, period. You have to put your Bitcoin into the hardware wallet. Don't leave it in the exchange. And he talked about will U.S.-China tension and other geopolitical risks continue to put pressure on the risk on asset and possibly affect Bitcoin. Max Kaiser responds: China, America, Russia, and Iran will enter a hash war. Well, yeah, of course, hash war. Yeah, right now because of the halving. After halving, the mining difficulty is getting more and more difficult, and the less efficient miners is going to be gone. And you can see that you can see the sign. Some miners they need to partner with financial institution to basically to finance their operations, their mining operations, because it's no longer profitable for them to mine because the reward already cut by half. And so they're going to have a hash war and then grab as much Bitcoin as possible. And this is the miner they're fighting. And Iran is already mining Bitcoin. He believe 3% of the total hash rate. I'm not surprised. I mean, they're going to have some type of elimination of the less efficient miner, and probably only the miner with the more efficient or updated machines will survive during this hash war. And he also talked about Ethereum. Since he is a Bitcoin maximus, he talked about Ethereum is trying to be fiat money and failing. Yes and no. I probably will disagree because the next catalyst will be the D5 decentralized finance project from the Ethereum. The 2017 booming is the pump is because of the ICO, and now they probably the next catalyst will be. Excuse me. The next catalyst will be the D5 decentralized finance projects. So I don't think I agree with that. But the thing is, Ethereum has inflation, maybe 5 to 6%. And I don't like the idea they have inflation because Bitcoin has no inflation whatsoever because it's deflation basically. And with every halving, the reward cut by half, and only they limit the supply of the token is only 21 million. That's it. But Ethereum, they don't have limitation how much coin they can have, right? So that's why Bitcoin is more valuable than Ethereum. So anyway, Max Kaiser is a Bitcoin maximus. And he talked about will the stock market will go to all-time high this year, and what's your price target for Bitcoin for 2021. He talked about the US stock market will probably hit all-time high, like the market hit new high in Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Iran. That was funny. I mean, those countries, is hyperinflation, like Zimbabwe and then Venezuela, Iran as well. Not because the companies are doing well, but because the currency are collapsing. And his target for Bitcoin he actually has a target for Bitcoin since 2011, has been 100,000. And he recently updated, up to 400,000. So his target price is 400,000. This is the timing depending on when exactly the US dollar collapse. So this is pretty interesting. So let me know what you think about the price of Bitcoin. What do you think about the stock market all-time high? And do you agree with Max Kaiser? We are going to hit new all-time high for the stock market. And not because of the companies are doing well, but because it's like they're printing and printing and printing and buy up all the stock and buffing up the market, just like the real estate as well. And I will let me know what you think about Bitcoin. Do you think the institution stashing Bitcoin basically not under the mattress in the custodial services? Anyway, that's interesting. And let's talk about some type of geopolitical conflict. I talk about the potential geopolitical conflict, tension in South China Sea. That was back on April 17. So April 17. April 17, back then, people basically talking about, what did they talk about? Coronavirus, basically. They always focus on coronavirus. I mean, mainstream media want you to think about all this thing. I talked about coronavirus back in January and February. And even though right now they're still talking about it seriously, right now it's already summer. They have nothing to talk about. And anyway, so there's a geopolitical tension between China and India, and you can see. Oh, this is pretty scary. I mean, the Chinese soldier basically using this rocks, roads, this iron rod with nails to attack the Indian soldier. I think there's a potential. They're basically doing physical fighting. They didn't use firearms and all that. And you can see the soldier got injured, Indian soldier got injured. This is like ridiculous. This is so, I've been telling people that the Communist Party is a totalitarian, authoritarian, ruthless regime. And they use this type of weapons. This is like unacceptable. Right now is already 20th century. And you can see they already planned this ahead. You can see the rods. And then you have a whole bunch of nails on the top of this thing. This is so brutal. Seriously, I mean, this is insane. And of course, I think the Chinese soldiers ambushed the Indian soldiers, and 50 soldiers on the Chinese side was dead, and then 20 in Indian side. And I think based on what I read so far, is the Chinese soldiers the one who provoke all this thing, and a lot of people fell off from the mountains because it's up in the Himalayas, and yeah, in the Himalayas mountain, and also maybe probably at least 5,000 above sea level, and the air is so thin as well. It's difficult to breathe in those high high mountains area. I mean, how can I say? It's like above the sea level. I mean, when you go to some area above sea level, you probably the air is kind of thin. It's difficult to breathe. So you can see, look at this. I mean, insane. Let me know what you think about all this. This is insane. I mean, right now, potentially military conflict is coming up, but I don't want to scare everybody. Just be ready. And so that's why you have to hold some commodity like gold and silver as well, just in case something happen. Let me know what you think about all this. I would love to hear from you. What do you think about Bitcoin? About Max Kaiser? He talked about the target price for Bitcoin is like 100,000 in 2021. Please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video interesting or helpful, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel. Also share with your friends. Make sure you subscribe. You don't miss the upcoming video. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, library.tv, as well as Patreon as well. And remember, crypto deep divers, we the people take control of our money. Stay wise, stay safe, peace. I'm not your financial advisor. Investing in cryptocurrency, commodity, and stock market can have inherent risk. Please use your due diligence. And I'm not your healthcare provider. If you have any questions or concern about coronavirus, you should talk to your provider. This video is only for entertainment and informational purposes, not a financial advice. Use your due diligence.